the Google way of working. Okay, looks like we're going to go ahead and start recording. So good morning, everyone. Before we start, I'd just like to set the ground rules and give you guys some best practices for today's webinar. We'd ask you to please mute yourself throughout the webinar. To enhance your viewing experience, could you please enlarge your browser window so that you can see our screen, our slides in full resolution and at their best. If you have any questions throughout this session, please feel free to use the Q&A tools we have in Google Meet. Just leave them there. We'll have a Q&A session at the end, and we'll be happy to answer any questions you have then. Just a note, we are recording the session today, and we'll go ahead and get started. First, I'll give you a quick introduction of GoPomelo. My name is Mario, and I'll be leading certain sections of the webinar today. GoPomelo, our mission is to drive technology, business, and culture through cloud solutions. We are a cloud native and cloud first company. And actually, we've been working with cloud since before it was called cloud, really. We've been working in 14 years in this industry, and we've worked with all types of verticals, all types of businesses to leverage the power of cloud. And we really believe in its power to benefit customers and businesses. We are now in 5 countries in APAC. We have achieved many certifications and specializations from Google, including location-based services, application development, infrastructure, and work transformation. So what that means is essentially Google has, certified us to provide systems and consulting to customers across APAC in these specific areas. We work across all aspects of cloud, and Google trusts us as a partner to deliver solutions for their customers. Google has awarded us Partner of the Year in 2020. And currently, we have over 100 staff across the region with 60 technical consultants who, amongst those 60 technical consultants, have over 50 different Google Cloud Professional certification from data engineering, security, application development, mobile device management, and all of those consultants are serving 1,500 active customers across the region. We work with a lot of different businesses, and we really feel that the cloud has the power to benefit every type of business, from a small SMB to a large multinational organization. We work with companies in financial services, logistics, manufacturing and supply chain, as well as internet and tech. We highlight some of these logos as some of our customers just to kind of show that, all of the different organizations that are moving to cloud or are leveraging cloud now and its power. And we really feel that we have the experience to help customers in any of these kind of industries and other industries as well to leverage the power of cloud and to really have good outcomes with it. We focus on 6 key workloads at GoPomelo. Firstly, looking at digital employee experience. This is really about collaboration on the cloud and tools that your workers can use and your staff can use to be more collaborative and more agile. We work with a lot of customers in communications and AI, from building chatbots to voice bots for customer service and call centers, as well as developing, custom chatbots for applications. We do a lot of work with advanced data and analytics, helping customers to bring data to the cloud, help to leverage the power of this and scale of cloud to get insights from their data and really be more proactive with how they use data. We're helping customers also with app modernization. So moving customers away from legacy type development and silo type applications to more open frameworks, as well as building at scale using cloud native technologies and app modernization frameworks. We also help customers leverage the power of location intelligence. Obviously, Google Maps being the standard geolocation platform for most people in the world. A lot of customers that we have use that in their internal applications and to service their customers more efficiently with location intelligence. And we provide managed services across all of these different workloads to help customers not just build applications, but manage them, optimize them, and leverage them moving forward. We have a star-studded cast today that we'll be presenting to you, starting with our CEO, Scott Hazelhurst. Then we'll be moving to my colleague, Sito, and then I will be handling the Google Cloud portion of this and talking about different tools that Google Cloud Platform provides to help people innovate on the cloud. And then finally, my colleague, Tyrion, she'll be rounding out the presentations, talking about location intelligence and how customers can leverage Google Maps to improve their business outcomes. The topics that we'll go through today, our CEO, Scott, he'll talk to you about how Google works and the things that we've learned from Google and how you can, move fast using some key principles for innovation. Seetal, she'll be talking about collaboration and productivity and how you can leverage some of the services of Google to be more collaborative in your internal organization. My focus will be building a platform for innovation and how you can use Google Cloud to build really great applications and scale on the cloud. And then finally, Tyrion, she'll be talking about tapping into location-based solutions. And then, as I mentioned at the beginning, we'll have a Q&A at the end. We designated about 15 minutes for that. So please feel free to put your questions in the chat bar, and then we can answer those questions at the end. So without further ado, I'd like to pass over to our CEO, Scott, and he's going to give you some insights on how Google works. Scott, I'll pass it over to you now.
Awesome. Thank you, Mario. I'm just sharing my screen and we'll present. Okay. Good morning, everyone, and really thank you very much for joining us this morning. We've put together some great content, and I'd like to wrap it around this topic of innovation and how Google approaches innovation, and then we'll flow nicely into how the tools that they're going to use to perpetuate their key principles around innovation. So just some background, and I guess kind of framing why we think we're in a good position to give this information and a talk around how Google works and their innovation. We've been working with them for around 10 years. And over that journey, we've really aligned our culture with theirs, and our partnership has allowed us to really mirror a lot of Google's culture and their approach and their values around how they organize their teams and look at innovation. And really their thought leadership and ours are very aligned, and we work together. I sit on an advisory board for the global Google Cloud partnership team to really understand how we can align our teams in a great way. So over these last 10 years, I think GoPomelo's culture has been really shaped by Google, and we take a lot of the learnings from them and use that in our team and our approach to innovation ourselves. So for those of us that are interested, a lot of the content that I'm going to present comes from a book called How Google Works. And it's a really fascinating book that was written quite a few years ago by Eric Schmidt, who is one of the founding partners at Google, and really talks about how they innovate and what allows them to innovate at scale. And it really is at scale today. So I'll go through a few things. Certainly looking at what's different now compared to sort of traditional era companies, looking at a concept of smart creatives and what smart creatives need to the environment they need to thrive in. And then some key kind of cultural things. And this will really flow into the tools that allow us to get here. So defaulting to open, kind of having an open source approach to your company, the ability to prototype and fail fast, and then the focus on user experience. And these are key principles that we've picked out, but there really is a lot that goes behind the scenes in Google and how they innovate. So we're going to start with what's different now. And I think that this is really about what's different now, but really kind of over the last 10 years or so, we're seeing things that are extremely different. I don't think it's any secret that technology is really transforming business. And I think everyone is clear on that. All the world's information is online at our fingertips. Mobile devices mean that you can access that at any point, anywhere. And mobile devices in everyone's pocket is effectively a supercomputer in everyone's pocket. And the cloud really perpetuates that again. And this is all fueled by a concept of Moore's law. So those that are familiar will know that Moore's law is the idea that the cost of computing almost halves more or less every year, which means that the cost to produce more advanced applications and the speed at which we will develop is going kind of amok, right? It's going out of control now. And if you add in the recent developments in AI to this concept, it means that we're going to get into artificial intelligence at an ever increasing speed. And so this is really changing the landscape of industries and how companies work. Another concept that is interesting over the last sort of 10 years or so, maybe more, is that the power has shifted from companies into the consumer hands, right? It is no longer enough to have a savvy marketing campaign and sell a lot of products. Consumers will choose which products they want, and you won't survive unless you've got a great product or a service. So that's a real concept that I think has shifted a lot of companies. Internally at companies, there's been a power shift as well. And this is moving away from, individuals having the power, rather moving into small teams, and anybody in the company can have a huge impact. And this concept is often quite difficult for a traditional company to grasp, but this is really what's powering a lot of innovation at the faster moving companies. And the ones that we see having the biggest impact in our companies now is this concept that Google have called smart creatives. And smart creatives are effectively those that are combining technical know-how. They're pretty savvy when it comes to business, but they're also creative. And the combination of these is these people that can make really high impact in companies. And I think that sort of, if we look at sort of millennials and then sort of Gen Z and going into sort of the new workforce that are coming out now, with ever increasingly large amount of smart creatives that are coming into the workforce, that is really important to set up an environment where they can thrive. The problem is that if you're a traditional company, your companies are not necessarily set up to have these individuals thrive. Traditional companies would have information that is siloed and hoarded, not necessarily shared. They're designed to minimize risk. And so traditionally, experimenting and trying new products was expensive, so they wouldn't necessarily do that. And then also decision-making power lies in the hands of a few, right? And that's definitely the traditional approach. And in other words, they are slow by design. And in our internet century, this really is not going to work. So how can these companies move into being these faster moving, innovative companies? What does work? And so Google really believe that if you take a smart creative, you need to create that environment where they can thrive. And that's super important. I think everyone understands that a company like Google is a great place to work, right? Well, it's not just about creating, soft furnishings and beautiful offices. It's a lot more about the cultural aspect of what the environment is. First of all, the smart creatives need to care about the place that they work. So that's a cultural thing, and that's really important for creating this environment. Secondly, it's important to get these smart creatives working together in small teams and keeping them connected, and make sure that they're always collaborating. At any point they can have those connections with the peers that they work with. Google also makes sure that they organize the organization around those that make the biggest impact. And working with Google over the last 10 years, we see that they are almost every year reorganizing their organization. And that's super important to make sure that they are always set up in the best possible way, much like a football team would organize themselves around the great players and set themselves up. It's important to do so in work and in the organization as well. Now, attracting these smart creatives to your great culture and your environment is, I guess, the first step, right? And so once they're in your company, the question is, what kind of environment do they need to thrive? Again, a great office is fantastic, but there's some important things that smart creatives need. First of all, it's decision-making. And so decision-making needs to be part of everybody's role, right? Now, we're not saying that everyone makes the final decision, of course. That might be a bit chaotic, but for smart creatives, you need to make sure that they at least feel as if they are part of that decision-making process and that their vote is being heard. And then they are effectively sort of helping the company steer or helping the strategy steer itself as well. Communication is another important facet, and communication, much like decision-making, is often a traditional company's failure. Defaulting to open is super important, and I think that that's a great culture that we see at Google, and certainly in ourselves, is that everything should be full transparency, and this allows that information flow to really gain velocity through the company. And the more information that people and staff have in your company, the better they are to make decisions and innovate as well. Goal setting is important, and that's something that I think Google have pioneered, certainly with their OKRs and how they approach goals. But it's important to set those unattainable goals, to stretch goals. Go Pomelo, we do something similar as well. Set a goal of 100%, hitting 60 or 70% is going to actually be great. But in those often those cases where we reach over those 60, 70%, then we've had a fantastic achievement at that goal. And then failure. The approach to failure is really interesting as well at Google. There's a term we all know that we've heard as fail fast, right? It is okay to fail. We learn a lot more from our failures than we do from our successes typically. But I think we'll hear later in terms of how compute and tools that are available allow us to generate a lot of what we call prototyping, spinning up an application idea within a couple of weeks, testing out if it really works, and then spinning it back down after a couple of weeks isn't as costly as it used to be traditionally. And I think that's a lot where traditional companies might kind of miss the mark in terms of understanding that you should be prototyping and testing constantly. And that's not a costly exercise anymore. And then I think finally, one of the huge facets there is really understanding that ideas come from anywhere in the organization, whoever you are, wherever you are, and setting up your culture, but also the tools to allow the ideas to come from anywhere is going to be really important in generating innovation and a culture of innovation as well. And so do all of these right. It's great to see that this is what Google terms their business nirvana. If you had all these ingredients together, they believe that they would create innovation at scale. And at scale is an important part here. Google is no longer a startup innovating in a small community, but we're talking about, hundreds of thousands of staff across the globe. And they continue to innovate, and they continue to do it at scale. So it's been really interesting working with them, and we continue to value our partnership because they do make us better in this area, and we take a lot of these learnings that I'm really happy to share with you this morning. So in summary, it's all about creating that right environment to attract smart creatives, defaulting to open, no data silos, giving those the staff the ability to access information anywhere, decentralizing decision making and making sure that everyone's voice is heard, listening to the lab coats, prototype, try things out, fail fast, move on is going to be a great foster of innovation in your company. And then focusing on the user experience. We understand that customers' power is important now. If your product and services is not creating that great user experience, they will move on fast. So I hope that's been useful. I think it's a nice setup. As I pass over to the next presenters in the next 3 sections, we're going to talk about the tools. And these are tools that Google have created for themselves, and then they've started and brought them to the market for organizations like yourselves to use in your organization as well. And so innovation is at the core of these products, and Google really believes that by using them, it's transformative, and it really goes to our mission as well about cloud and the tools that you have the ability to transform culture and obviously technology and make us all more effective innovators. So I'll pass over to Seetal. Thank you for your attention and great to see you all on this call.
Hi, everyone. Good morning. And thank you so much for taking the time to be here this morning. My name is Seetal, and I will be speaking about collaboration and productivity in 2022 and how we're going to work moving forward in this era. So basically, the pandemic has changed a lot of things, the way we work, how we are going to go moving forward. As you can see here, 94% of organizations are enabling a more flexible way of doing work, despite where you are, how you're doing it, as long as it gets done. So generally, the pandemic has changed a lot of things. In fact, it has done more than that because it has accelerated the way how we needed to change and evolved. But the crisis itself made this happen. So virtually overnight, millions of companies and workers became part of a year-long, if not longer than that, I think, global experiment in how we do work remotely, right? It has pushed our boundaries in how we collaborate, how we work productively, what are the tools we have to get this work done. And a lot of it has to do with the fact that also a lot of us work in different time zones and different continents. So it's all about what are the tools we have to make us be able to do the work more in a collaborative situation. So for years, a lot of forward-thinking organizations have been wrestling with how to maximize collaboration and how to make sure that the employees are happy with what they're doing and able to maximize the work that they're doing. And they've been developing the tools to make it happen at a large scale. By that measure, in general terms, the future of work has actually been here for longer than we thought it was. But it has been, of course, not distributed easily, and it wasn't visible to a lot of us. But armed with these three strategies that we have in place here, businesses can now improve productivity and encourage innovation with better meeting the needs of their customers and their employees. And this is going to be, it's basically now happening already, and it's going to predominantly be the way we are going to work moving forward. So how do we work from anywhere and how does it function? So a lot of research has gone into showing that flexibility enhances employees' productivity and happiness. And all this while attracting and retaining most of their best talent across the globe. A happy employee makes them not want to leave in general. So when businesses are more flexible in allowing how their employees work, people gain more control over where and when to be productive, as well as how to balance their job responsibilities with their personal lives. In a post-pandemic work world, this kind of flexibility has become an expectation for a lot of us. And therefore, that's why with the right tools, you're able to basically provide these options to your employees. As individuals and businesses gravitate towards the flexible collaboration, the technology to support this is also evolving. And sometimes it even anticipates what's going to happen in the future, what their needs are. And how do we make this work? We now have tools that let people on opposite sides of the globe work together as a team, from video meetings to face-to-face interactions, and the ability to have a digital whiteboard for collective brainstorming. There are so many tools out there to help us do this, despite wherever we are geographically and different time zones even, right? So as you can see here, how does having the right tools maximize an employee's impact to an organization? So a lot of research has gone into this, and as you can see here, it shows that employees around the world spend a significant chunk of their day on low-value tasks that require little human ingenuity and get in the way of productivity. So a lot of us do a lot of things that generally get into the way of what we normally want to do. There's a lot of unnecessary stuff. And these including attending fruitless meetings, managing high volume of email, tracking down the latest versions of documents. I think a lot of us in the previous years had this problem. There were a lot of versions of documents and we had to always try and get the right version. And also basically switching between applications to do different things. And not to forget, lastly, a lot of IT-related problems. So in the post-1980s generation, a lot of people are generally digital savvy, right? And that is going to make up for 3/4 of the global force in just the next 6 years. So basically what we're speaking of is the generation that is coming into the workforce are all going to be digital. So they prepare for it and they expect the same in the environment in which they come into work. So many employees already know what they need in order to pick up the pace and make time for innovation. And also to make it seem kind of seamless. So it's not a change, but it's just a transition from, let's say, college, university, or, coming into the workforce. A lot of companies are taking this into their own hands, with 77% of remote employees using unmanaged personal devices to access corporate systems. It's a win for productivity, perhaps, because, okay, a company allows for you to work from home, use your personal laptop, but a lot of us forget that that is a potential threat to the security and privacy of a corporate and also its clients' data with whom you work. So a lot of future-minded organizations understand this, and we do too at Google. So they're trading in their legacy productivity softwares for modern business apps that accelerate the pace of work. These new solutions are typically based and aligned with the cloud-first approach for many enterprises. So research has shown that companies are increasing in sizes, and they're also relying on the cloud a lot moving forward in general. So from the aspect of collaboration, communication, software development, data analytics, the rate of adoption will continue to grow in the future. And it has been predicted that by 2024, the global spend on cloud services will surpass $1 trillion. Now, automation is also a very big thing. Basically, it is increasing part of modern productivity and collaboration apps. Powered by an artificial intelligence, these kind of augmentation helps employees save time by removing the burden of mundane tasks. So imagine, for example, an intelligent software that learns your work patterns and preferences over time. Then when you're sort of preparing for a meeting or drafting a status update for your team, it automatically surfaces suggestions like what are the files you need for this meeting, what are the files that are relevant to your presentation. So you don't basically have to keep a track of them because the system is allowing for you to see them there already and it's suggesting it to you. Now, if you add up all those minutes you have saved looking for a file or document, that over a period of time is a significant chunk of the day you have reclaimed. In fact, intelligent collaboration and productive tools, it has been said, can save the equivalent of 1 full month of work per employee per year. And that is a pretty long time. Now, access to knowledge. We all know that having knowledge gives us the ability to do our work better. A lot of us in the past have had problems of having access to knowledge. So now access to knowledge allows for an employee to unlock their full potential. And with the right tools, sales teams can, for example, produce higher quality presentations at an accelerated rate when they have the right data, right? And creative assets at their fingertips available whenever they require it. They don't have to wait for someone to send it over to them or just go looking for it randomly. Basically, they know exactly where it is, they can search it and they can get it. So a lot of work gets done at a faster rate. And also another example I can give you is an IT worker can respond more quickly to security risks when they are able to receive proactive alerts. If there's anything suspicious, any activities that are not right, don't seem right, they get the alerts immediately and can act upon those also immediately. So everything that happens now is happening at an accelerated rate. And a lot of us also, I think, in this post-pandemic space, a lot of us have been stuck at home for almost 2 years or so. And the ability to have human connection sometimes does make a change in how we feel generally. And today's employees care about basically human connection, right? And the benefit from expanded access to shared information. But, you know, they also want an opportunity to be able to contribute to their organization with a collective knowledge. Now, whether that's done by suggesting new product or services, providing feedback on internal processes, basically they want to be involved. And all that from a remote access point, right? So research has basically shown that highly engaged employees are 87% less likely to leave their companies than their disengaged counterparts. So if a company can basically hear out ideas, voices, what ideas does this employee have for me, and I would like to hear it, that in return gives the employee the ability, or rather the perspective that, okay, I'm being heard, there is some sort of a connection here. So they feel better despite the fact that they're locked up at home and have 4 walls to look at. Now, the millennials. So Gen Z, basically, I think the millennial generation is kind of old school now, and a lot of us are speaking of the Gen Z that is predominantly starting to enter the workforce. So a lot of them are already equipped with the knowledge and skills to use a lot of these applications that have been around, and they're using them in colleges, in the universities, so they know how to use it at the back of their hand. And they expect to also use them in their jobs, as opposed to coming in and starting to learn something that is different. They're likely to be disappointed if they find that their organization is behind times from a technology perspective. Basically, they're very fast, right? Everything is at their fingertips. They have a mobile phone. They are so used to getting whatever they want in a few seconds. So they want work, and they can work more efficiently. So they expect that from an organization they come into. So as a result, they will also demand that the organization is able to provide all these for them, because they grew up with an expectation that sharing services and information is basically readily available whenever they want it. So now that is where Google Space comes in. So Google Workspace is designed to be and function in a way that is truly helpful. Now imagine a technology that is so seamless and intuitive that it feels almost invisible. It has the ability to anticipate our needs and augments our work so that we can maximize our time and be more productive and flexible in our day-to-day work life. Google Workspace can help everyone in the organization to contribute equally, regardless of location, role, experience level, language, and device preference. So you would have internal teams that need the ability to work effectively from anywhere now, that they are all distributed, and this is the new reality. Everyone is basically kind of able to speak with each other with the right tools. Those that have large frontline workforces, some factories, let's say, where the teams on the field rely on mobile. So they don't have a desktop, but they have a mobile. So even they have the ability to be connected with the organizations, with their managers, because these tools are readily available on Google Workspace. And the organization that are needing to completely redesign their customer experience to adapt to the new normal. So a lot of these comes with the fact that digital customer experience has also evolved. People are predominantly always ready and want to have the information readily available for them, and it has to be easy to be accessible. So before we get into the details of how our products work and how are we different, I want to lead with what we can do for your business, which is why we are having this conversation today. So teams using Google Workspace are happier and more innovative. And this is the future of work at this point. So you can see those numbers there. And studies have shown that people who use Google Workspace are more innovative, and the future generations expect to use this when they enter the workforce, as spoken earlier, right? Among Google Workspace users that we have surveyed, 68% enjoy work more after adopting to Google Workspace versus 30% of those who work on Microsoft 365. And we know that the happier you are, the more engaged you are, and that gives you the ability to better deliver your work performances. And that in return supports the company in its top-line revenue growth. And because our Google Workspace is an open platform. It is built with collaboration at the core. People have the ambient awareness of what others are working on and a broader access to people. You can speak to people, all your colleagues, ideas. You can share ideas with them at your fingertips, basically. And because of all this, we've seen that 75% of Google Workspace users say that their teams are more innovative. And basically, going with Google Workspace is quite literally a bet on your future workforce. As mentioned, a lot of the future generation that is coming in, a lot of them already know how to use, because a lot of us, I'm sure a lot of us who are in this call today, all our personal emails are via Gmail. So basically the idea is that to make the workplace seem more seamless, and it's not a change when they come to the workforce. In fact, they're so used to doing the work the way they are that it's easier for them to sort of submerge into the work life with the tools that they're used to using, right? And the impact on businesses. So according to Forrester's Total Economic Impact Analysis, Google Workspace saves companies 171 hours per user per year. Now, if you add that up, it's around 21 days, which is basically a whole extra month of productivity in your working year. And it also reduces on-demand tech support costs by about 20%. And all that for a company delivers a return on investment of over 331%. So a lot of this is important, I think, moving forward. And because we're all working on the cloud, and that is the idea of how we're going to move into the future. So I also must mention that with all this and the security aspects in place, there's a 95% rate of reduction in risks of data breach for a company, right? So of course, a lot of companies are very concerned about the fact that they're moving their data to the cloud, but rest assured, also this is a platform that Google uses themselves. It is not something that they have built and they're selling to other people, but they have basically become successful and a giant in the tech world with the product that they created, they used and implemented for themselves, and they're now sharing it with the world. So we spoke a lot about flexibility also earlier. So flexibility in how we work in today's life is become very essential for all of us now because of the way we've changed how we work. And it is a fundamental aspect of the Google Workspace because we pioneered real-time collaboration with the launch of Google Docs in 2006. And we've continued to innovate to make collaboration more fluid, seamless, and efficient for our customers. So whether it's a team within an organization or a group of people from many different organizations, you can create a secure document. You can work on it with the right security settings. You can communicate in chat rooms with a group. You can track your projects with the right, again, allocation of security settings, who you want to allow to edit, who would you like to allow just to maybe view a document. And all this allows for a collaboration tool, but with the right fundamental settings on the security aspects of a document. And also from just one screen, it allows you to jump into a meeting, search your files, and all this is done not from 5 different tabs, but just from one tab, and that is your Gmail tab. So as companies consider their safe return to offices, a lot of others are planning for a mix of remote and in-person environment. That's the hybrid version of how I think a lot of companies are thinking moving forward. So this shift is more distributed, and it's not new. It's been around for a bit, but it's become more visible to a lot of us now post-pandemic. So if you're working on, having the ability to jump on a call, look at the person, have a video meeting, it's been done for a while, but Meets already works on almost all devices. We have a complete range of hardware for your work from home space to the boardroom. So for collaboration quality, we also recently announced the companion mode, which lets you participate equally by raising your hand. You have the ability to perform polls. If you have more than 50 or 100 people, you can basically have a poll and Q&A. And there are a lot of other features that are really intuitive and helpful when you're doing or dealing with very large numbers. It makes it more fun to have a webinar or have a meeting. And all this is done basically either you go in the office or you're working remotely. You can be present and you can be involved in this. So, and also the other thing I may want to mention is that with Google Assistant on Nest Hub and Series 1, employees can join and control meetings via touch-free using Hey Google voice controls. So there are a lot of cool things out there. And all these help you to basically make your work environment a little more fun, make you included and be included into it. And a lot of this is changing. A lot of traditions in how we used to work is changing, and it's happening right now. So some of the tools that let you maximize your time. So we've been working very hard at Google to help to add helpful features that make it easier to get your most important work done. So for example, we have the tool called Smart Canvas. We are taking something that people already use generally every day and make it a little more collaborative, right? So you have the ability to interact, building smart chips, like different files, people's meeting. You can create templates with topics, vote tables, project track tables, checklists. So it's pretty cool in how you can sort of do your day-to-day work and just making it a bit more fun overall, but it gets the work done basically. It's not that it's just fun, but it also basically allows for people to just become more smart and creative in the way they're doing work. As I think Scott mentioned earlier, it's about the smart creatives. So it's a more creative way in allowing for us to do our work. Now let's jump into innovation. So Google Workspace puts the people at the center of deepened connections between your employees and your customers, all with consumer-grade usability. So basically what we're speaking of is we are focused on creating immersive and inclusive product experience, like the ability to integrate Meets with other surfaces where you can actually see and hear people that you're working with, all while you're collaborating on Gmail, Docs, Sheets, and Slides. You'll get these non-verbal cues that comes with actually seeing people's faces, and all while talking through your problems, solving problems, and everything is done in real time, right? It doesn't matter where you are able to do this. It really captures some of the magic that comes from being in the same place, when you could call your coworker to basically come over to your desk, but now we can't do that. So this is what we have, and Google Workspace allows in a manner for you to be able to do this. And also, I think I must mention that with our Meets conference solution, there are things like live captioning, in-meeting translations, very interesting layouts that we have. And I think a very important, personally for me, tool, or rather an aspect at it, is the noise cancellation. So I live in an apartment and I have neighbors who are either jumping up my building or right above me or something like that, or someone having some kind of construction happening. So the ability to cancel out those noises is really great and doesn't disrupt when I speak in a meeting. So I think that's really amazing that they've come up with this. Now, what I would like to do is share with you one of our use cases that a company for whom we have implemented the Google Workspace, and how we've helped them in the way they have been moving forward in the workforce now. So Ocean Network Express is basically a global container shipping company. They're headquartered in Singapore, and they offer an extensive liner network service. And they cover over 100 countries globally. So with GoPomelo, they implemented Google Workspace Business across 15,000 user base in their company at different geolocations. And they were able to successfully launch the company back in 2018, basically by which time a wide number of users within the company were already personally collaborating on Google Workspace. So they had a lot of problems in terms of the ability to communicate with different people from different locations, keeping track of documentations, and all those. So the results, in short, after working with GoPomelo and implementing Google Workspace, is they were able to eliminate the management of a collaboration platform. They were able to reduce the amount of emails, traveling, the costs that were involved with traveling, and all that by just the idea of having the tools, the right tools to collaborate, the right tools to be more efficient at work. Doesn't matter where you are. And the process of improvement continued with the transformation, with workshops that we had created for them and worked with them with. And so they were able to basically change the way they work, but it was a lot better for them, and they're really, really happy. And that is why GoPomelo emphasizes on this fact that we just don't want to sell you a product. We want to be able to work with you. We want to show you that this works, and we'll stay with you and train your employees and make sure that you're happy with what you're using. It's not just a tool, it is basically changing the way of life and how we are moving forward in this coming years. So how do we get started? A lot of us, I think a lot of companies have this question in mind. The idea is great, but how do we start? And there are some common challenges, I think, that a lot of companies have. And that could be due to the lack of dedicated IT skilled people within an organization. So you're not sure how you're going to tackle this. You don't have the right people who are, I don't know, maybe into the security, the technical architecture, or know anything about data analytics. So you're unsure of how to do this without the right IT skilled people within your organization. Some lack an organizational change management. So you don't know how this change is going to affect you. You are unsure of how this is going to impact your whole organization moving forward. lack of strategy. Basically, you like the idea of it, but there is no strategy, and because you don't have skilled IT people, you basically cannot draw a map as to how you're going to move forward with this idea of wanting to move, right? And sometimes a lot of companies also have inefficient data management. So you may have a lot of data within the organization, but they're not basically structured in a manner where you can retrieve that data and use that data more efficiently. It's just kind of all over the place. And also, I think the other challenge could be the inefficient business processes. You don't know how to change your workflows, change the business rules. How do you leverage the data in different ways that you first envisioned it to be? And a lot of companies also are working on legacy systems, so the idea of a change becomes a bit of a challenge. So hence the slight reluctance of wanting, but there's always a solution to a challenge. So here at GoPomelo, we are experts in productivity and collaboration. We have been recognized by Google as the transformation specialists for the quality of deployments that we have done for Google Workspace. We have a full team of certified professional collaboration experts, and we have completed over 300 Google Workspace projects across Asia Pacific. So this is how we work, and this is how we deploy Google Workspace. It's a proven methodology. It shows how we take a customer on a complete journey to cloud adoption. So we come in from the start, we do a setup of how your users are going to be, we draw up a roadmap for you, and we ensure that the migration is done properly. We sit with you, we organize the security aspects according to your requirements in your organizations. We suggest a couple of things with you. So basically, we run the whole idea with you before we go live. And in the midst of that, also, we offer training services, consulting services in whatever needs you have. We will support you through this whole journey. So these are some of the services we have at GoPomelo. So we have basically kickoff configurations where we help your organization basically set up the requirements for the Google Workspace. We do the migration consulting services. We have training services and consulting services around change management. And even after we have gone live, if you require consulting services from us in terms of being an IT arm that can work with your organization, we have a lot of things available. So I'm looking forward for all of you to, if you're interested, please do reach out to us. We'll be more than happy to speak with you. Do not hesitate to get in touch with us. We'll be more happy than to even do a live demo of Google Workspace. And any problems you have, we are always here to work with you. So I think I have taken a bit more time than I should have. I am really sorry for that. But thank you so much for listening. And what I'm going to do now is I will be passing it on to my colleague, Mario, who will be talking about infrastructure and building an innovative platform. So thank you very much once again, and over to you, Mario.
Great. Thank you, Sito. Hi, guys. Mario back again. So as Sito mentioned, let me just get my slides going up here. So yeah, my focus today, and I'll go a little bit faster now in terms of, going over we want to talk about the Infrastructure Transparency Initiative and essentially, how digital transformation actually works. Now, you guys see it mainly from the, the end user perspective, right? New applications that you're using, new tools that you're, being put on in your environment, right? That your management are asking you to use to, collaborate outside of the office, things like that. But really, there's a lot of stuff that has to happen behind that in the background there, right? And we want to look at kind of three key components of that. Obviously, infrastructure is critical, but we also need to understand security and how data also is traveling between the environments as well, whether that's cloud, on-premise, or a combination of those. So what we want to talk about here is kind of the ingredients of digital transformation, if you will, right? Digital transformation really depends on a few key pillars, right? And if we're looking at it from the software engineering perspective or from the data and security perspective, there are key things that you should look for in any cloud provider, not just Google, right? Obviously, the benefits that we want to have here are agility and time to market. So having something that's going to allow your staff to be more collaborative on the with their, creating presentations, with their email, with their video calling, things like that. But also, your software development teams. Are they able to quickly push new features to your applications? Are they able to get insights from customers quickly based on application performance, based on, marketing surveys? Are they able to consolidate these things, right? And once they're able to consolidate them, can they action them? Can they get useful information from that data? Quality of service. Obviously now with all of us being out of the office most of the time, mainly working from mobile, things like that, quality of service is super important because, if you have a bad connection or if you can't access a certain system, you're probably not going to try to use that system as much and you won't be able to leverage it, right? Which could lead to kind of bad investments by, the business leaders and poor customer experience, but also poor user experience. It's on both sides of it, right? Obviously, security is always top of mind. There were back in the day the perception that cloud was not secure as running things on premise or hosting things on premise. I think we're at a state now where we're very confident to say that that's just not accurate. Yes, of course, putting things on the cloud does expose you to different types of security factors and security risk. But if you're implementing best practices and you're working with professionals and consultants who are experienced like us at GoPomelo, we can actually provide you with a more secure security posture across all of your applications, both internally and externally, right? And, all of these three factors are great, but at the end of the day, it has to be efficient, right? In terms of cost. So business leaders, while they're weighing all of these factors in terms of how do they transform their businesses digitally, how do they provide better digital experiences, it has to impact their bottom line positively, right? And you'll see this, that all the kind of big companies that are able to do this are the ones that have been the winners of the pandemic. People like Google, like Amazon, like Microsoft, Facebook. All of these companies are able to deliver software and experiences quickly and securely and provide good experiences so that, their technology and their organizational performance is at the highest level. And these are kind of the leaders that everyone's kind of following and tracking now. Now, when we talk about that digital transformation, we talk about the IT stack, and it can really boil down into three variables. We look at reliability, agility, and visibility. So reliability, I'll go into in a little bit, and talking about how you have different options for service. Agility is also about speed of service, but also providing the right tools to your technical teams and your developers. And then finally is visibility, which we really consider the security aspect of cloud. And I'll start there in terms of where we're going to go next in terms of the slides. Okay. So when we talk about security in the cloud, we want to focus on four main things, right? And this, again, not just for Google, but for any cloud provider that you're going to be potentially working with, you want to make sure that they have these things in place, right? And we'll go into a little bit more detail in these specific things on Google later in my presentation. But right now, I'll just kind of highlight them as being, the key factors that we as Google partners look at when we're implementing security best practices for our customers. First, obviously, you want to be able to have a cloud-centric view. No, there is a pun intended there, right? Because if we look at it from the top down, when you move things to the cloud, you are potentially, opening yourselves up to different different variables in terms of security, in terms of performance that you have to monitor, right? So you need to be able to see all of that and be able to action those things quickly. A big challenge that we see a lot of people who are just moving to the cloud face is configuration. Configuration can really have a huge impact on your security posture. We see it here a lot in Southeast Asia. A bank or a financial services institute, they put some public identifiable information on a storage bucket that has a public IP address. It's easy to find, right? A lot of these security risks we find with customers deal with configuration, not so much with bad actors or people trying to penetrate their networks. It's really kind of human error and things that haven't been set up properly that allow an attack vector for people to penetrate their networks. So really understanding configuration is super important. Having that configuration set up correctly is top of mind, but also being able to detect threats if they do happen, right? One of the brilliant things about cloud is the scale and also the tools that come with that scale. So you can be able to see exactly how things are performing and how people are engaging with your network, connecting to your network in real time. And what that allows you to do is be proactive in your security postures. I guess mainly, for SecOps and security operations in the past, it's been very reactive, right? Something happens and then you have to try to fix it. When you have real-time overviews of things, it makes it a lot easier to be proactive and to kind of stop problems in their tracks or stop them before they even happen. And then finally, in terms of security, with all data on the cloud, you need to be able to show that that provider is hosting things in the correct way, securing things in the correct way, and being transparent and accountable, right? Data put on the cloud is still your data, right? You need to be secure in the knowledge that the provider that you're choosing to use is doing everything they possibly can to make sure that your data is safe and that your applications are safe. Now, obviously, there is a shared responsibility model there, but it is important for any cloud provider to make sure that they're doing everything possible. So, having all this proper compliances, ISO, PCI, SOC 2, SOC 3, showing that, yes, they are doing this actively and they are having third people auditing them so that they are accountable to, their terms of service and their service level agreements with you as a customer. Next, when we talk about reliability, we're looking at really having multiple different technologies that allow customers to move to the cloud fully, partially, or something in the middle, right? Google has gone all in on hybrid and multi-cloud. And this is pretty obvious because, as a Google partner, we've seen it over the last 10 years. Not all customers are ready to go fully to the cloud. Some customers have made really large investments in other providers, and they may have some certain use cases that they want to move to Google where they can't move everything across, but they still need to have the flexibility to have those two cloud platforms talk together. And obviously then on-premise, there will be legacy applications that just can't be moved, or it's too much of a business risk for them to move. Google has embraced that and understands that and has provided tooling around that, and also to help migrate those applications that can go to the cloud in a secure way that allows the users to, basically have no disruption of service or minimum disruption of service when it's moved. Another key thing in terms of reliability is having an open cloud architecture. Now, a lot of siloed and legacy ways of building applications don't allow for easy connection or secure connection to cloud-based resources. The Google Cloud mentality and also the mentality of Google Cloud partners is adopting an open cloud architecture, right? Being secure, but also allowing secured access and zero trust access are key components. Heavy usage of APIs, heavy usage of, IP whitelisting, these kind of technical, flexibilities are really critical to an open cloud architecture. Obviously, though, you need to reduce risk, right? And reliability is about reducing risk as well. What that means from our perspective is providing services and building applications in a way where that if there are issues, they're highly available, failovers and ability for customers to quickly restart services for their customers, right? Having disaster recovery very well orchestrated and organized, things like that. But then also allowing customers between clouds, so if they have a workload running on another provider, something happens on that provider, they can quickly and easily move everything over to Google, resume service, right? So really having that peace of mind that if anything happens, that they do have a plan to remediate and fix it and get back to running their business effectively. And then finally, in terms of reliability, we look at cloud native applications. As I mentioned, a lot of the new modern cloud frameworks, not just for hosting, but for development, are much more stable and provide a better platform for developers to scale and have multiple options in terms of deployment. And cloud native technologies, which I'll talk about a little bit on Google, allow for that and allow customers to be able to have that reliability. And as my segue into cloud native apps, when we think of cloud native apps, we look primarily at two technologies. We look at managed serverless technologies, which is, literally not having infrastructure to manage from your teams, right? A lot of developers really love this. One, because they just have to focus on the code, on the user experience, on the user interface. They don't have to worry about provisioning servers. They don't have to worry about checking network configurations before things are launched, because Google is handling that for them, right? Obviously, before that they get to that stage, they need to do some configuration. But ultimately, you try to set up serverless technologies in a way that allow coders to just code and provide great experiences to customers. And also the cost benefits of that. You only paying for compute resources that you're using, and the flexibility to scale up, have that elastic scaling where if you have a business like, say, an e-commerce provider or a Grab, an Uber, one of these type of customers where you definitely have peaks and troughs of service, getting the most for your money, paying for what you need when you need it, but then ultimately not being, punished for over provisioning or buying more than what you need and scaling back down in a cost efficient way. And then the next cloud native technology we talk about would be microservices. Now, microservices, are really linked with Kubernetes and containerized application technology. These are great as well for development teams and infrastructure teams that want a little bit more control than running something serverless. They want to maintain a certain type of security posture, certain types of configurations on networking, on the way they build virtual machines, whatever it might be, right? But using microservices allows them to do that in a reusable way, so they don't have to change the entire application or do a huge, massive effort every time they want to launch a new feature within their application, right? Having the ability to reuse certain components over and over while, still updating an application or updating a customer experience gives developers a lot of flexibility, right? And it also gives them that security and knowledge that if something does not work, they can quickly roll back to a version that was stable with minor disruption to service. And these are the technologies that newer developers want to use primarily, right? They want to be able to use serverless and microservices combined even, right? Because certain parts of an application may not require a dedicated host, where other types of the application do need something dedicated, and that's where they can leverage microservices as well. So giving them that scale, giving them that flexibility and that agility to pick between them is kind of a key component that Google focuses on with Google Cloud native application technologies. Now, also when you're looking at, picking your cloud vendor, you want to be able to do benchmarking, and Google provides those tools as well, so that you can make sure that you're running the right workloads in the right places and getting the most value for your investments into the cloud. When we talk about Google, then linking to those kind of three core principles, it's really centered on security, multi-cloud, and easy management, right? As Sito mentioned previously, right? When you're running things on Google Cloud, hosting your application, you are leveraging the same infrastructure that YouTube, Gmail, Android, all of these services are leveraging this. So essentially you get to benefit from the technologies that's being, provided to billions of users every day with that world-class security, but also that reliability, right? And you also know that if you're hosting on Google Cloud, all of this has been industry tested and makes compliance for all different industries that you might need, right? As I mentioned, multi-cloud, right? Huge focus for Google and Google Cloud right now in terms of being able to run workloads across different clouds on premise, but having that single pane of glass, that one view of control for the developers, for the security team, so that they know that no matter where they're hosting something, whether it's Google or whether it's connected to Google, that it's being done in the right way. And then finally, having easy management, right? Being flexible. we all know that consumer, requirements can change daily, in some cases, and a lot of applications, specifically in e-commerce, they're changing their sites multiple times per day, right? Changing their applications multiple times per day. Having a tooling around that allows, just a few people to manage a really large infrastructure is super powerful, and really a benefit of Google Cloud. Google is also a leader in open source, right? They have been for many years. Some of the larger technologies that people are using in cloud native and machine learning came out of Google, right? Kubernetes, which I mentioned in the microservices, is a leader in container technology. That came out of Google and the technology that they actually created to manage and scale their own infrastructure, right? TensorFlow, if you're into any machine learning or artificial intelligence development, you've heard of TensorFlow. It's the largest learning repository on GitHub for machine learning, and used, globally, not just for people who develop on Google only, but also on Amazon, Microsoft, and other platforms as well. And then also Google's commitment, they've actually developed Golang, an open source programming language, to build applications specifically for the web, right? So Google is leading that charge, and any cloud vendor that you're looking to work with, you should kind of look for some of these key components of being open cloud, cloud native, and having that security posturing as well. Just a bit more on how Google does cloud native apps. Google has a pure end-to-end kind of framework for cloud native applications, delivering them from the moment that programmer codes that application, packaging it, having it checked to make sure that it passes all their internal QA, QC, packaging it, and then running it either in a serverless environment like Cloud Run, or a container-based or microservices-based architecture like Kubernetes, and then allowing you to quickly see how those applications are performing and monitoring them, providing updates to the security teams and to the operations teams on how they're operating using something like Stackdriver. So Google has the end-to-end solution already, has been a leader in some of these in terms of cloud native, and is really helping customers to leverage these. And that's part of what GoPomelo, one of our main missions, is. It's to help leverage that technology. And I'll quickly talk about a couple customers who have taken advantage of these infrastructure requirements, but also the cloud native functionalities of Google on the data and security sides. Our customer Wongnai here in Thailand, they are a huge active user base of 10 million customers per month. And what they've really done with Google is taken advantage of the hybrid and multi-cloud capabilities, but also the security and the scale of Google Cloud, right? They use Google Cloud for ingesting lots of data into a centralized data warehouse where their teams can, get insights on customer behavior, on performance of certain, metrics that they're tracking on their websites, on mobile, and allowing them to very easily transfer data between different systems and then consolidate that so that their business leaders and their application development teams, their data engineers, can pull data to give the right business metrics to their business to understand the health of the business. They also were able to leverage some of the computing resources on Google Cloud, and get the benefits of having consolidated data in one place, having a streamlined data management platform, but then also having the cost benefits as well. Another company here in Thailand that is leveraging a lot of cloud native technologies and really embracing is Krung Thai credit card company here in Thailand. We've really been able to help them from, at the very beginning of their cloud journey and setting up a cloud landing zone, right? So essentially setting up an area that provides additional layers of security and allows them to securely connect their on-premise and their core banking systems to Google Cloud through, very advanced networking, very advanced security protocols, and meets all the compliance requirements that they need to securely, leverage the cloud. They're working with us on chatbots, on enterprise data warehousing, and we're helping them from consultation, designing these systems, all the way to building them together hand in hand, and then helping to move them to like a managed service model where they engage us to, keep up, train them, but also help them to implement new features as they're improving these systems. It's had some great benefits for them already. They've been able to, shorten their migration cycles and continue their cloud journey at their own pace, because having something like a landing zone in place allows their security teams to feel comfortable, like, okay, we've got our security and compliance boxes checked. we can now actually leverage this and see what other technologies we can use to improve our back-end systems, our customer-facing systems, and how do we give the best customer journeys. So really powerful there. Next, I'm going to talk about security, right? And obviously security is top of mind with all of this digital transformation stuff, because people are concerned, oh, well, now if I'm exposing my data, right, how do I know it's secure? And a lot of companies are doing this, right? Since the pandemic, 63% of businesses are working on digital transformation now. And I'm sure that number is probably high, but it's across, or higher, excuse me, but it's across all different verticals, right? Seeing huge growth in healthcare, banking, manufacturing, and retail, and also in the public sector, right? The pandemic has also opened the eyes to a lot of public sector leaders saying, hey, we need to be able to leverage this because our current systems just are maxed out and they can't handle it. But with all these companies now moving to digital transformation, right, it's a pro and a con, right? It's great because it expands the use of the technology, but also, you know, gives a potential bad actors more ways and more areas to try to exploit. So when they have to modernize, right, they have to do, again, go back to those key 3 pillars I was talking about: reducing costs, so looking at things that actually aren't providing any value for them and getting rid of those legacy security requirements; eliminating the complexity, right, allowing them to, now that they have to engage with multiple clouds, multiple systems, give them a single pane of glass to do so; and then help and upskill their employees, right? Google is designing its cloud platforms and also its training investments, you know, globally to help people be skilled for the cloud. Not just, you know, in terms of application development, but also in security specializations and data specializations as well. One of the key components of Google Cloud Platform security offerings is Security Command Center, and it looks at security again from that cloud down view to provide visibility, to help discover vulnerabilities, detect threats, and then also provide all the maintain compliance requirements. Security Command Center essentially, you know, works from detecting threats, seeing their impact on assets, and then helping to identify any misconfigurations, and then, you know, providing recommendations for remediation and taking action, and doing so in a compliant way so that, you know, if auditors do come and check a specific event, everything is cataloged and everything is there for them to see clearly. Now, I'll go a bit quick now through data and intelligence, but, you know, I really want to highlight this as, you know, data-driven intelligence and being data-driven organizations is a key component of digital transformation from the business perspective. But it is challenging, right? A lot of organizations are stuck at data and analytics because they just don't know how to leverage data effectively. 69% of companies are reporting that they are not data-driven. And, you know, what we see with a lot of our customers is, yes, they have tons of data, but they have no idea how to use it correctly, right? Historical data, or they're only leveraging a specific subset of that data as well. And it's not easy, right? It's the infrastructure component that I spoke to earlier. It's also finding the talent and optimizing the cost. It's kind of balancing those 3 pillars, right? It's always a challenge. And the requirements from, you know, business leaders is saying, hey, we want to leverage more data. We want to understand our customers better. And so analytics leaders, you know, the data scientists, the data engineers, the heads of data, the CTOs, they're having challenges because they have to manage the expectation of leveraging or managing these this data in a secure way, you know, or cost-effective way. And really the challenge is on now because organizations that are able to, you know, be AI and ML embedded or have those things as drivers in their business and automate those processes are the market leaders. And you know the names again: Google, Microsoft, Facebook, Amazon. These are all the companies that are doing this at scale, and those that can't are going to be left behind. But they're looking at the challenge of managing data, having that higher upfront cost, and it can be risky, right? Moving something that's been running for 20 years on premise to the cloud to try to optimize it does have a high potential for failure. So that's why a lot of organizations are slow to update this. And this will only increase as more and more customers move to the cloud. The data is going to increase exponentially. So when you're looking at how do you do that, you know, again, we're going back to some of those 3 pillars, but also looking at how do you bring in data tools to, you know, that are the tools that people want to use, right? Specific types of roles like data engineers, data scientists, they have very specific ways they like to work. And you need to be able to provide tools that allow all the members of your organization to leverage all the different types of data your organization might have in a secure way, and potentially move to AI and machine learning, right? Now, BigQuery, as I mentioned a little bit earlier, is one of the key components of that strategy at Google, allowing you to ingest data at scale and do it cheaply and cost effectively. It's a petabyte scale data warehouse, which has built-in ML as well. So really, if you start to move data to Google Cloud into BigQuery, you're setting yourselves up to be data first and have a good head start in becoming an ML embedded organization as well. Google also provides those tools for AI to help you manage them and improve the experiences and drive insights. And as I mentioned, right, those tools have to be what the tools that the data science communities are using, what your data engineers are using. These are some of the hottest roles in tech right now, commanding very large salaries, commanding a lot of competition. So when people are looking to hire for these roles, they want to make sure that they have the right technology stacks in place to attract this talent. Some of our actual customer use cases who are leveraging this, our customer here in Chiatai, they moved their legacy data warehouse to the cloud because their Oracle systems were just completely maxed out. They were losing data. They were missing a lot of important business metrics. In a matter of a couple months, we helped them to migrate some of that to Google Cloud, and now they have a fully functional data warehouse on Google Cloud. One of our customers here, CM Cement Group in Thailand, they leverage Google Cloud and the data capabilities of Google Cloud to support a huge IoT streaming sensor project, managing safety in their different facilities across Thailand. And then Maxis. Maxis is the largest telco of Malaysia. We've worked predominantly with them to help them to set up data pipelines and to build a data warehouse to help them resell services to their SMB customers by providing a consolidated view of all of their data analytics. Now, how do you get started with us on Google Cloud Platform? As I mentioned, we're here to help you get the most out of Google Cloud. We have teams of experts in security, networking, architecture, development that can all provide really great information and analysis for you on how to best leverage the cloud. Our pillars for success start from assessment all the way through to launching your services and providing managed services ongoing. Google also provides some really great projects, funding of opportunities where we could potentially offer up to $65,000 for qualified customers to do a pilot, cloud training, or a POC. And this is at a no financial commitment if you qualify, with some minimum spending in terms of the GCP spending. So, our teams can talk about that at the end. If you guys have any questions, just put them in the chat and we'll be happy to discuss that further. That's all for me. Went a bit quick. I'll pass over to Tieran now, and she can round things out with Google Maps. Over to you, Tieran.
Thanks, Mario. I believe we are running a bit late over time. Let me just get my screen on here. Can you all see the screen? No? Yes?
Yep, you're good, Tieran.
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. I'll take it over now. Thank you, Mario. So, hi, my name is Tieran. I'm actually the sales manager that look for Go Pomelo, Malaysia. What I'll be covering today, I'll go a little bit fast as we are running a bit overrun. So we'll be I'll be talking about how Google Maps platform tapping into location-based solution. So my agenda for today, what I'll go through is we'll look into a little bit on location intelligence, and I'll go into two solutions that we look at, like how delivery at its best and also branch locator, how it is easier to locate with branch locator and how we can help further. So how is location intelligence matter more than ever? As we know, sorry, the slide got cut off again. Okay, let me continue here where I left off. Sorry about that. So as we know, location intelligence is very important at this point of time, right? So as we know, since 2005, the mission for Google Maps has been to help people to navigate and explore across. So I believe everybody do use Google Maps in your daily life every day to get from point A to point B. So before I get into talking, I would like to let you know why geospatial intelligence is important now than ever to enterprises. Right, so geospatial data has grown tremendously across maybe the past 2 years, right? The world is changing and the pace of change is accelerating, driven by the internet, driven by the devices that we have, and also the technology that we have. The volume, as Mario mentioned earlier, the volume of data, it's grown exponentially, right? Data from geospatial data services is no different. It plays very critical role in many businesses' operations to help and inform and also drive customer-centric strategies. The abilities to analyze customer geospatial data has shifted up a gear from static maps to spatial analysis and insights. So while most companies understand the importance of geospatial data when it comes to analyzing business performance, right, wallet share and customer journeys, they have problems with their data infrastructure and quality to gather meaningful and strategy insights. So now is actually the right time where enterprises need to seize this opportunity and apply geospatial data and analysis to drive business decision and optimize customer experience across the entire customer life cycle. Why geospatial data is challenging, and why is it not standardized across regions? The accuracy of data is very challenging. As we know, each and every region, each and every country have their own structure, have their own elements, right? For example, let's take the postcode of each and every country. In Malaysia, postcode can be a bit confusing because it's not very well driven of where the right location you are, right? So it can be a bit confused, right? For example, what happened to our MySejahtera case, right, where you given this address with this postcode, but they have sent you from KL to Penang, so which is a bit confusing why they have sent you further from where you are. So for another example, Japan, which streets are usually not named, the blocks are numbered instead. People start their address by entering the postcode. So this makes geospatial data challenging. That is why the data accuracy is also challenging. So with this, transforming geospatial data to geospatial intelligence, it's the way to do. Geospatial data has always been important for businesses. So we'll take it a step further with geospatial intelligence, where it tells you more than just where your customer live and work. This is also thanks to the combination of widespread mobile use, such as big data and IoT. Business operation can leverage or add layer of data, such as demographic data, traffic, distance, and to derive insights on their customers and internal business operation. right? So this is why transforming geospatial data to geospatial intelligence is pretty important at this time of in this market. What brings geospatial intelligence? How to create new value for enterprises? How we can innovate with this, right? So this with three top, as you can see, we provide better customer experience with geospatial intelligence enhanced. With this, we enhance the digital customer understanding, engagement, and also experience across the entire customer life cycle. So when customers discover new brands, explore new offerings, how they want to make the purchase, how they want to make use of the product, get support for products, and during ongoing engagement with peers and the brand. So it's very critical to provide this additional context for the online and physical world across to all these customers' touch point. It's not only about visualization or finding the place anymore, but with the enhancement of technology, more and more new use cases start to emerge, and the need for enterprise customers are changing rapidly. Geospatial intelligence spans across most industry, not only retail, but also food industry as well, as we can see. A few years back, this may seem like a buzzword, but they are all very real now as we experience it for the past 2 years during this COVID pandemic. So we can see why Google Maps has been an important reason, a lot of this as well. So why Google Maps platform? Let's take a closer look on why we pick Google Maps platform as the location solution that we can help to enhance in your organization or enterprise, right? So Google Maps platform has already been around for more than 15 years. Who does not know Google Maps platform, right? They have been in the mapping world since 2005, as I mentioned. They also have invested heavily in mapping across the world, from providing street addresses, right, and also capturing imagery from depths of the ocean, right. Google Maps platform also tailors to our consumer products for businesses as well. They deliver the most accurate real-time model of the model and a familiar map that everybody knows and how to use it, with enterprise-grade solutions, security, and support. So from helping ride-sharing companies quickly connecting their drivers and passengers, enable logistic providers to deliver packages on time, and also to assist developers from building real-time games, for example, Pokemon Go, right? They are able to run businesses to turn insights and to make growth out of the insights that they look at. Why real-time? Why Google Maps, right? It provides real-time, multiple reasons why people look into Google Maps. How Google Maps is able to innovate and help you guys, enterprises, right? One is the data is real-time and more accurate. One of the key is this is our popular across, where Google Maps consumers experience with over 1 billion monthly customers. And across the Android ecosystems, over 2 billion monthly active devices across the world. All these people and devices, along with Google's leading edge technology, drive over 50 million updates a day to Google Maps data. The other key is also the continuing with improving the accuracy and the freshness of the data. So with Google Maps, they have also invested heavily by expanding their Street View vehicles to 88 countries, also with advanced machine learning capabilities to create, and also creating their local guides program. With this as well, you provide real-time data, you have more accurate data to be able to leverage on your platform or application. Now I'll go into the solution that we use Google Maps, how we can integrate with Google Maps platform. One, we look into delivery, right? So I'll go a few of our success stories that we have done. I believe most of you must have heard Mulaka, Easy Cab, Go Car, Soka. So what we have done with them, how are we successful with them? We have implemented Google Maps platform to their application. If you are on a ride sharing, you can see that Mula is using Google Maps, right, to be able to notify the nearest driver to come and pick up the passenger. So all this is leveraging Google Maps platform where we help to implement and innovate with the customer, right? So these are a few of the well-known ride-sharing app, car sharing app, and food delivery app that we have done and have success with them. Why using Google Maps? So with this, you can create and lower the cost. It creates efficiency routes to lower the cost and improve customer experience, right? If your company, you're running your own logistic or have a last mile or having a plan to build your own delivery, Google Maps platform helps you to lower the cost, right? Improve customer experience using real-time and predictive traffic models, right? With this, it helps you to able to monitor, to plan your workforce from moving even during rush hour, choose the faster routes, or reallocate deliveries to workers based on the real-time traffic conditions. This improves customer experience, improve your workforce. You can even monitor the exact location of the moving vehicle in real time and determine the route of a vehicle travels and create more precise itineraries for your customers. So why? How? With the use of API of routes that enable businesses to provide to users or to customers from best way to get from A to Z with high quality directions and real-time traffic updates. This is the location data at its richest and most intuitive, with helping businesses to expand, optimize, and to increase efficiency. The other thing that we look at, for example, if you're having so much details that you want to key in, how you want to sustain or you want to maintain the customer from coming out from your checkout, don't want to drop the customer sale. So we want a customer to be efficiently sign up and check, how have you ever abandoned your cart during checkout, right? So with autocomplete, with the Innovate Google autocomplete, you'll be able to see the efficiency on how customers are able to fill up. Don't need to fill up everything, but it's faster. So I'll show you a short video. If you can see on the left hand side, it's where you're using Google autocomplete, and on the right hand side is actually manual entry. So the time difference to actually fill up all your details with autocomplete and also manual efficiency does show a much difference. And with this 20% abandon rate, 20% if they have to re-enter their details and all that. So if it takes so much time to fill up, right, customer will actually drop off from purchasing the product. So why not we go with an efficient way to get customers sign up and also check out, right? So with this is also another example where you can also pin your location in your application. You fill up, you use Google autocomplete, you can just drag and drop the pin to your exact location, which is also another way or efficiency where customers are able to provide their precise location in your application. The other solution that I'll look at is actually branch locator. What does it mean by branch locator and why is it important, right? So we'll look into one of our customer success story, which is Kasikorn Bank, which is one of the top banks in Thailand, right? What we have done with them, we have actually built up their branch locator application, which is online and also mobile. You can go in, refer to it, right? And it doesn't only, it's able to provide you to, locate where's the nearer branch, ATM, where you are. It improves the customer satisfaction where customers do not need to call the bank and ask where. So with this, it actually improves customer experience, reduce the amounts of call to customer call center, right? So it's a easy view. You can have all the detail and filter it accordingly. So this is what we have done with Capricorn Bank, from building the app and also integrating with Google Maps, right? So the other user story that we want to share is actually in a retail market, right? How you want to utilize, innovate with Google Maps, to find the nearest store with, the specific product, or, with a specific product that you are looking for. So with utilizing geocoding and geolocation to quickly determine where's your location, and this is also adding to your real-time inventory, integrate with your inventory system of which store carries specific items, and determine which store carry the items that the customer need. So with this, it actually helps, and customer is able to use Google Maps to see which store is nearer to them and have the specific item they need before they step out the door, rather than they step out the door and go and find every branch or outlet that they need to go and see, right? So this actually saves time for customers. So omni-channel customers are most valuable segment of shoppers in this period of time. What do they mean? Today, omni-channel customers account for this proportion more sales. So with this, as you can see on the slide, omni-channel customers stand more than 3 times more than customers who only buy in-store, and 7 times more than customers who only buy online. So given to this, in summary, shopper enterprises, retails or food outlet must target every customers, no matter online or in-store, differently. So they have to differently target and win. So with Google Maps, you'll be able to innovate, look at your data and make sure you are able to provide all these target customers. With this, with branch locator, during the early stages of pandemic, we see consumers try a new shopping service for the first time, like checking inventory online first, getting grocery delivered, and trying curbside pickup. So with this, it's important to have, not only to show where's the location of your store, but it also provide more detail. Consumers are increasingly using mix of web and mobile to search the best location to visit. Not only restaurants, not only ATM or stores. So for businesses that have multiple locations, they can optimize location features with places library, where dynamically can list out nearby stores and locations in a defined area, right, while on the go. Places details also enable customers to embed richly detailed information such as addresses of the store, geographical coordinates, rating, operation hours, right? So now the way to innovate is also you'll be able to chat with the store directly or make bookings directly on Google Maps. So this will keep customers on your site rather than redirecting customers to your own website. So when customers do a search on Google Maps, they find your business, they can do online search, online, online search, online booking directly on the same interface. Next is travel use case, right? So with travel, as we know, we do a lot. It helps customers to actually decide where they want to stay by visualizing valuable data about the hotel, what is it, where is it on the map, such as rate, where points of interest, walk scores, ratings, and with photos. So with this, that is why with this, you can innovate with your other data that you have. Marketing analytics comes into the picture. How marketing analytics let you understand customer journey better across all channels. So you can merge your online and offline data to get a true picture of your ROI. You can also ingest real-time sales data so that you always have the freshest insight about what's working in order to take your customers to the new level. With this, you can overlay multiple data sources, from Google AdWords, Google Business, SAP, your Salesforce data overlaid on Google Maps to get meaningful data so that you can make meaningful decision for your enterprise, right? So with this key takeaway, of course, faster delivery, it lower cost, optimize your workforce and asset tracking. Store locator, you'll be able to search, consumers are able to search more specific store details prior to their visit. Faster checkouts for customers, increase conversion rate, right, and reduce impact of bad addresses, right? Data visualization, analytics of your data to predict marketing outcomes. So with this, it's really a good way to innovate, bring your business up to par with this new world that we are moving into. So how Go Pomelo can help, as Mario mentioned at the earlier stage in our introduction, we are very much Google Maps specialists, right? We are able to build the application for you. We're able to do the application consulting. Development services for you, and also Google Maps consulting for you as well. Coming with a partner like us, we are also able to provide volunteer pricing for your Google Maps usage as well, right? And we provide credit terms with 30 days invoicing, and also you enjoy 200 credit from us as well on your Google Maps billing, right? So I believe everyone is tired. I'll end today. Thank you for your time for listening to me, right? I believe we have 5 more minutes. I would need everybody's help to fill out the feedback form, which is